Hey there, this is Malorian, and this is going to be a massive 5,000 point game that had my orcs against kind of once bitten's dwarves. Alright, so as we go into this first picture of what the board looks like, I'll kind of explain what's going on here. So, I've done a couple of games with once bitten before in the past, wanted to try and get another one in. But one of the things that he really likes having everything painted. That's what's so great about his battle reports is that everything's always painted. And so even though he'd like to be Bretonnians, like he always plays, mine aren't painted. And so I figured that since his son plays dwarves, I suggested he uses my dwarf army. He thought the idea was fine, and off we go. So the way that this mission's going to work is it's not anything from the book. It's a little bit separate. So the way that this is set up is that the dwarves have a defended position here with this tower set up just ahead of the deployment zone. They deploy their entire army, then I deploy my entire army. Dwarves are going to get first turn, and the way it works is that you get 1 point for holding the tower, 1 point for killing. Each side of us have 2 generals, so there's 2 points you could be getting, and then there's also the BSB. So it's kind of more of a focus game with objectives. And when I posted up on Wars here to see what people thought, they kind of thought that the dwarves had a bit of the advantage here, but overall things were thought to be fairly close, so that's always a good sign. So alright, let's look at what we got here. On the dwarf side, they have a gyrocopter, a bolt thrower, then that's 30 quarrelers with great weapons. He has 2 slayers there, and in between them he has a unit of thunderers with his combat general that's about to take the tower. He has an organ gun, some hammerers, and there's a combat thing that's going to be there. Actually, there's the 2 thanes standing behind. That's just because at this point we hadn't decided where to put them. So one will go into that unit, organ gun. Then there's a big long horde of warriors that is going to have the other in it. And then looking up at me, I have a big horde of black orcs in there as one of my generals that has the -2 to hit and killing blow. There's also a black orc big boss there. Behind them, a unit of orcs. Also behind them, a unit of 20 Night Goblin archers with my level 4 shaman. I have a wolf chariot, a big unit of 50 Night Goblins. I have 4 chakkas and a doom diver in the woods. Another big unit of 50 Night Goblins, but this one has 6 big bosses with great weapons in there. Then 3 more chariots, and I have actually a Wyvern rider, another chariot, and a giant. And behind all that, I have a unit of orcs, and in there I have my savage great shaman with the Balax Laswa. So he's actually going to be my second general, even though he shouldn't be, just because it's a little bit more fitting. Then on the right side, continuing with the dwarves, they have the, once bitten always seems to like to have the BSB behind units to keep them safe from charges. Then he has a flame cannon. He has his cannon inside the tower there. This one's not objective, the other one is. Behind it is the anvil. Then he has a horde of long beards with great weapons, and in here he has another dwarf lord that's really set up to be really killy. Up on the mini hill he has a bolt thrower and a grudge thrower, and then finally a cannon in that little placement there. And then jumping back up to me, I have 50 more night goblins. I have 25 savage orcs with spears just because I think they're cool, and there's a black horse big boss in there, and then my 2 units of fast cav that have already vanguarded up. Alright, so my thoughts on this game. Whenever you have a defended position, it's always a advantage and a disadvantage to the defender there. And the reason is of course, he's all behind walls, so when I first charge him, I'm going to be -1 to hit. Obviously shooting at him is going to be tougher. However, there's also the psychological thing where you kind of want to hold the line. So my thoughts is hopefully that he's just going to be holding his spot in that fortress, and I can just pick on the one side. So the idea is that, I don't know if you saw it there, but I'm really hitting hard on the left side of him there. Really going to be trying to go, just driving for that tower to try and claim it, kill the unit, kill the dwarf lord, and right there, that could be 2 points that would be giving me the win already. All the while, I'm going to be trying to get off my Foot of Gork or Gork's Warpath to try and kill that BSB. Otherwise, units are just kind of moving up to block the rest of his, or in the case of the fast cav and the savage orcs, just to kind of race around, try and take out whatever war machines they can, and then just kind of annoy him. One thing I have to watch out for though is he actually has some miners that are going to be coming out behind me, 2 units of 7 and another one of 20 with full command and a steam drill. So those could hurt me, but as long as I get up far enough, quickly enough, my hope is that they won't be doing too much, and actually my hope is that they'll go after my war machines, which are actually fairly useless to me in this game. Alright, so Dwarves take first turn, and before that the one gyrocopter vanguards up. And then something happens that really changes my game plan. His Longbeards actually charge out at my wolves. They failed to charge. It was kind of a far one. But the big thing here is that now obviously he's not going to be defending with this unit. It's going to be coming across to, once it deals with me here, flank. And the last thing I want is this unit of ultra killy Longbeards in my flank. His Thunderers and the Longbeards take the tower, and I might as well mention now that the Longbeards, I'm not too worried. I mean, my Black Orcs can just brutalize them. But the problem is that one Lord that I'm going to have to try and kill somehow, but he's set up to be +2 strength and doing d6 wounds, so he can make a mess of my general, and so I'm going to have to be very careful how I handle with him when I get there. Moving on to his shooting phase, he does a couple of wounds to the Wyvern and actually kills the War Boss. His Grudge Thrower scatters off the Night Goblins and does 4 wounds to my poor giant. And Quarrelers kill 5 of my Black Orcs. So after Dwarves turn 1, you can see that the Gyrocopter is up there to kind of bait me. And other than that one Longbeard unit that moved up over here, not much happened. His Anvil tried to do Ancient Power to smash some things, and it misfired, or whatever you call it for the Anvil, so nothing this turn. Alright, so on my turn, these wolves actually animosity makes them run up, and the problem here is that now I can't wheel past those Longbeards to charge the war machines I want to, so that was no good. And then otherwise, I'm just really moving up, just trying to go around that gyrocopter for now. I mean, I can try and shoot it down later, but my magic phase, he has so many dispel dice. I forgot to mention, behind that one hill on the right, he also has a rune priest that has a massive rune of balance, and he also has 3 runes that automatic. They're basically scrolls. So for the first part here, my magic phase doesn't stand a chance. And then on this side, my spiders actually tried charging the cannon, failed to charge, and my wolves are just kind of maneuvering around to try and charge a war machine later. One thing I did do is my shooting managed to kill 2 Thunderers. Woohoo! And I don't know why I have double pictures of this, but otherwise this is what I'm kind of looking at here. Just to kind of add more information, you can see I'm just kind of pushing up all along, and hopefully my chariots on the right side there can start taking out some war machines. Okay, Dwarf's turn 2, and he starts off with another failed charge. His Longbeards now try and charge my spiders, but roll a 3 and a 1, and turns out he's just out of range. That poor movement 3 movement. So when you're used to movement 8 knights, it must be frustrating to have these slow dwarves failing these really close charges. His gyrocopter moves in front of me mainly just to bait out the fanatics, and I just throw them into this piece of terrain just to get them out of the way. All of his miners come in this turn, which is deadly, but this one here drew out another fanatic, and I killed 2 of the miners with him. And on this side, the big unit of miners came in right behind my savage orcs, and with the anvil he just charged right in there. And predictably in combat, slaughtered them all. For some other things, I have this pump wagon in the back here to protect my war machines from these miners when they came in, but he decided to chance it with this one small group. And so after his turn, things look like this. Not too much different on this side, but on this side you can see that he killed my Wyvern, my Giant, and one of my chariots. So, starting to take some losses. Orcs turn 2, my pump wagon smashes into the miners. My spiders charge into the cannon, while my wolf riders go around and hit into this rune priest. And the reason why he's there was he was kind of thinking that if my savages got away from his miners, then I kind of bump over all this and kind of land in this empty spot, and the last thing he wanted was a big unit of savages behind his lines. So he had this rune priest here so that I'd bounce over him and off the board, and now it just kind of led to him being charged. I have one chariot that smashes into the organ gun here, and my other one actually did a nice long charge into the bolt thrower on this side, and my Black Orcs charged the gyrocopter and caught it to end up where they are here. My shooting kills a couple more Thunderers. And in combat, my pump wagon smashes through the miners. I took 2 wounds, almost got destroyed, but I got it done and went off the board. And things went great down here. I destroyed the cannon. I love the poison on the spiders for being able to get some extra wounds in there. And I was able to break the Rune Priest and run him down while going off the board. I smashed the organ gun and kind of ran behind his line. And just to kind of explain here, obviously we're kind of breaking the 1 inch apart rule, but the kind of reasoning is just kind of, I wanted him to get in what he wanted in here, so the main thing is we know what unit is what, and that's what matters. Just to mention, while we're seeing this BSB, again I tried smashing him, and again my magic got shut down. And on this far side I killed 2 of those crew members, but the last one, they're stubborn, so he held. So at the end it looks like this on this side. You can see how my Black Orcs are going towards the tower, while I have 1 unit of Night Goblins there to kind of block the Hammerers, while the rest is kind of just there to kind of block the rest of that side of the board. But the real issue I have here is I want my Black Orcs to charge the tower, but I got those Quarlers with great weapons that I don't want to be making a mess for me. I wanted my Orcs behind there to be kind of blocking them off, but the way that woods was there, I couldn't get them into position, so I'm going to have to figure out how to get around them. Which could just be, I have to charge them first, kill them, and then go to the tower. And then here's just another picture of this side of the board where things are just kind of moving up to try and make trouble in later turns. So Dwarves turn 3, this is kind of interesting. He decides to throw these remaining miners into the rear of my unit here, and it's really just to hold me up, but at first, it's kind of more of a joke of just to see what they could do. And in something that kind of caught me by surprise, these Quarlers decide to flank the chariot, and it's supposed to be in such a way so that they run past my Black Orcs after, so that could have solved my problem perfectly. His Flame Cannon goes after my Night Goblins, just rolls a 2 though, and so it only hits and kills 1 guy. But his Grudge Thrower gets a massive hit here and kills like 13 Night Goblins, so that takes a real chunk out. Things like the Organ Guns and the Thunderers shooting at my Black Orcs kill another 6 of them, and so I'm starting to realize that I gotta get into combat there quick because I'm being shut up. He knows that these guys are a threat, and so he's targeting them. So in the end, even though both of us have hatred against each other, he does nothing to me, I do nothing to him, and I just combat reform to turn around. I kill the last Bolt Thrower crew member, but he destroys my chariot and runs on by. And at the end of this turn it looks like this, so really I'm liking how this one side of the board is opening up, and also liking how I still have my chariots and things, and most of my blocks are fully intact. On this side though, it's a little bit more worrying because it has that large miner group and the Longbeards, which are coming on over against my flank, which is exactly what I didn't want. It now puts my everything into a real threatening position. I really want to I have to move up so I can stop the warriors from flanking me, but if I move up too far, then those Longbeards have got me. So I'm going to have to be very careful here. And so really, I think it's going to be up to that troll to try and redirect those Longbeards away and save the day. So Orcs turn 3, the spiders go after the Grudge Thrower. 1 chariot hits into the Flame Cannon, another one went into the warriors. Actually those Night Goblins are supposed to be charging too, but they failed their charge. The other unit of Night Goblins is charging the Organ Gun to hopefully destroy it, and then either way just block the Hammerers from moving over, and then my Black Orcs charge the tower while losing just 1 of their guys. So as usual, my magic was shut down, but now all of his scrolls are gone at least. I destroyed this Grudge Thrower and moved back into the Bolt Thrower, and you can see at the bottom my wolves came back on. His miners killed 1 Night Goblin, but then he held. My 1 chariot destroyed the Flame Cannon, moved on. My chariot killed, 3 warriors and then got destroyed, and then my Night Goblins did destroy the Organ Gun, or I think I actually failed its stubborn test and I ran it down while running into the Hammerers. Okay, and in the tower combat, my unit champ issues a challenge which his lord has to take. He kills my unit champ, but then going to 2 hand weapons, I just slaughter a ton of I think it was 12 Thunderers, and he only kills 4 of my other guys. So very bloody, but this is what I need to kill off these Thunderers so I can concentrate on the lord. So afterwards, the left side of the board looks like this. Those left orcs just going to kind of pin in the Quarlers. And on the right side it looks like this, so that troll did move up to try and block him, and his anvil misfired last time again too, and so couldn't do anything this turn or next. So I'm gonna have chariots all over him.